What up, everybody? Welcome back to Double Overtime. It's your boy P, back at you again with another one. Hey, if you're watching this video today, man, make sure you hit that subscribe button for this channel if you haven't already, and make sure you turn those notifications on just so you're notified every time I drop a video of this NFL and NBA content I'm going to be bringing to you guys. Make sure you follow me on social media as well, at Double2OT on Instagram and TikTok. Those links will be in the description box below. Today I'm bringing you guys the 2021 NBA Finals preview between the Phoenix Suns and the Milwaukee Bucks. That is starting tomorrow night. Game 1 is tomorrow night. But first, before I get into that, I want to give a shout out to the Atlanta Hawks. Now, the Atlanta Hawks aren't my NBA team. My NBA team is Miami Heat. We got swept in the first round. Everyone knows. I'm not gonna get too deep into that one. But I want to give a shout out to the Atlanta Hawks because nobody thought, including myself, that they were gonna make it as far as they did. They took care of the Knicks in the first round. 76ers. Milwaukee Bucks was their last stop in the Eastern Conference Finals. That just ended the other night. I didn't even think they were going to get past the New York Knicks, honestly. The Knicks were hot coming into the playoffs this year. I thought the New York Knicks were going to take them in probably about 6 or 7 games. Obviously, I was wrong. I don't know if that was the consensus that everyone thought the Knicks were going to beat the Hawks, but I was one of the people that did think the New York Knicks would beat the Hawks in the first round. But I do think the Atlanta Hawks have a bright future. I want to give a shout out to them in this video only because of how far that they went, because I honestly did not think they were going to make it as far as they did. Like I said, the Danilo Gallinari trade obviously worked out in their favor, as well as the Bogdan Bogdanovic signing. They added they added some great depth to the Atlanta Hawks offensively. 3-point shooting, Bogdanovic as well as Gallinari. They added some great depth to their bench. Lou Will played a big factor. He had a key role in the 76er series. I think when the Hawks were down, what was it, like 26 in one of those games that the Hawks came back from? Lou Will played a big factor in that. Lou Will's always been a stud. He went to my high school, South Gwinnett High School. Kevin Huerter hit some big shots, especially in the 76er series. Kevin Huerter played very, very well, especially when Trae Young was hurt a couple games. He stepped up. And John Collins was the best version that we've ever seen of John Collins, honestly. I think he's up for a big contract extension. I never really was a big fan of John Collins, but this postseason he did show me a lot. Like I said, I think this was the best version of John Collins that we've ever seen out of him. And last but not least, Trae Young, man. Trae Young played like a superstar. He played the villain role against the New York Knicks in that series. The Knicks fans were chanting all type of crazy shit at him. I think he went to Philly. He played in a hostile crowd in Philly. He played like a superstar this entire playoffs. Trae Young is gonna be. I had a debate with one of my friends if Trae Young was a superstar right now. I say, because there's tiers. I say there's a star tier, the average player tier, the star tier, and then the superstar tier. I think the superstar tier would be, of course, Kevin Durant, the LeBron James, the Anthony Davis, the Kawhi Leonards. I think Jimmy Butler is one of the guys that's in that star tier. Jimmy Butler, I think he's a prime example of that star tier because I don't think Jimmy Butler is a superstar. Even though that is my team, I'm keeping it real that Jimmy Butler is not a superstar. But I do think Trae Young may be in that. I'll go ahead and put him in there. It's unfortunate that he had that injury, just a freak injury. He stepped on the referee's foot. Even the referee was out of bounds. Referee wasn't even on the court, like on the playing court at the time. Had he not went down, the series could be different. The Atlanta Hawks could be in the finals right now. Who knows? But shout out to Atlanta Hawks, man. I want to definitely say that before I get into the finals preview. Nate McMillan, the interim head coach, has now today just officially been named the head coach of the Atlanta Hawks, so he's not the intern coach anymore. So congratulations to Nate McMillan. Congratulations to the Atlanta Hawks, man, for making it as far as you did. Like I said, nobody thought that they would be in the Eastern Conference Finals. Like I said, I definitely didn't. So now that that's out the way, let's get into it, man. The 2021 NBA Finals are set. The Milwaukee Bucks versus the Phoenix Suns. I said the other night in the last video I posted, that was my first video back in about 3 years. I did say that I think the Bucks were going to take care of that series that night, which they did. So now the Phoenix Suns and the Milwaukee Bucks will meet in the NBA Finals. It's not the NBA Finals matchup that everyone wanted to see, including myself. But I do think it's good to finally see two new teams in the finals that haven't been there in years. This is the first finals Phoenix is going to play in since 1993, since they had Charles Barkley, Kevin Johnson, Danny Ainge, those guys since 1993 when they played the Chicago Bulls. They lost that series, of course, and the Milwaukee Bucks are going to play in their first finals since 1974. I am rooting for the Phoenix Suns in this series. I'm going to give my prediction at the end of this video. But I am rooting for the Phoenix Suns only because Chris Paul. I think it'd be great to finally see Chris Paul win an NBA championship. A lot of people don't like Chris Paul. You can say what you want about Chris Paul, but he's is he a top 5 point guard all time? I'd have to look at it. I was gonna say that he's a top 5 point guard all time, but I really have to sit down and look at a list before I actually say that. But I like Chris Paul, man. He's a stud. He's definitely one of the greatest point guards in NBA history. So I think it would be great to see him win a ring. Now, one of the main keys to this series is going to be the health of Giannis Antetokounmpo. He hyperextended his knee. I want to say it was his left knee that he hyperextended against the Atlanta Hawks in the Eastern Conference Finals. Just looking up the timetable to recover, or even just for the pain to stop in a hyperextended knee. For what I saw on the internet, it said 2 to 4 weeks. Obviously, I think that injury hasn't even been a week, maybe. No, I don't even think it's been a week yet since he hyperextended his knee, if that is the injury, because a lot of people, I think it said that a lot of people in the organization fear that it was an ACL tear, but they're saying it is a hyperextended knee. But 2 to 4 weeks is a timetable for the pain to stop going away, so I don't know. I definitely think Giannis is going to be in some pain. I definitely think he's going to be playing in the finals. I'm not going to sit here and say, oh, he's not going to play in game 1, game 2. I definitely think he's going to play because the Bucks haven't been to the finals since ¡74. He's the 2-time MVP. He's the Defensive Player of the Year. I definitely think they're going to use him in this series. He's the best player on the Milwaukee Bucks. So I definitely think Giannis is going to play. But one of the biggest keys, I think that might be the main key in the series, is Giannis' health. So we're going to see about that going forward. Phoenix Suns have home court in this series. Games 1 and 2 will be in Phoenix. So let's talk about the two teams' path to the NBA Finals up until this point. The Phoenix Suns, they took care of the Lakers 4-2. Of course, Anthony Davis, he went out with an injury. They swept the Denver Nuggets in the conference semifinals. And they beat the LA Clippers in 6 games without Kawhi Leonard playing in the entire series. Milwaukee Bucks, they swept my Miami Heat first round 4-0. They took care of the Brooklyn Nets 4-3 off of depleted Brooklyn Nets team, I will say. James Harden was 100%. Kyrie Irving went out after game 2, I believe. I think he got injured game 3 or something like that. They were up 2-0. But Brooklyn did have a 2-0 lead, so let's all remember that, because, of course, I did think Brooklyn was going to win that series. I think it would have been a better series, because I think if Brooklyn wins that series, Brooklyn's going to the finals. But I mean, injuries happen. It's a part of the game. But, you can't make any excuses for anybody. But, like I said, they did have a 2-0 lead. Because I did forget that in that last series that they were up 2-0. But they took care of Brooklyn 4-3. They took care of the Atlanta Hawks in 6 games. I'm looking at the two teams' path to the finals. Even though both of these teams did beat unhealthy opponents. Like I said, Suns beat the Lakers unhealthy. Denver, they were missing Jamal Murray. The Clippers didn't have Kawhi Leonard. I still think Phoenix had the tougher path to the finals, dog, honestly. I don't know. It's kind of tough. It's tough to say. Just looking at it on paper right now, I do think Phoenix overall had the harder path. I can't believe they swept Denver, but I do think Phoenix still had the harder path. It's kind of neck and neck, honestly, to be real with you. Even though Brooklyn was depleted as well, it is kind of neck and neck. But if I had to pick one, I would say Phoenix had the tougher road to the finals. And they honestly didn't struggle that many. They definitely didn't struggle against Denver. They didn't struggle against the I think they were down 2-1 against the Lakers at one point, but I don't think they really struggled in any series like that, bro. Of course, Milwaukee went to 7 games against Brooklyn, even though they were depleted, but I do think the Suns had the harder path to the finals. And let's talk about the CP3 effect for the Phoenix Suns. As you can see by this graphic right here, this is the Phoenix Suns since the NBA bubble last year. Their record before the bubble was 26-39. They were at 400, a 400 record. The record in their bubble, of course, they went 8-0, but they still missed the bubble playoff. They didn't make it to the playoff. Since their trade for Chris Paul, they are 51-21. They have a playoff record of 11-3, and they are now in the NBA Finals. Kendrick Perkins, he said on Twitter, he was speaking about Chris Paul. He said, yes, Chris Paul's finals run is one of the most impressive ever because of how he did it. He didn't cheat the process by joining a super team. He went down to Phoenix and got it out the mud and led a young group of guys with 0 playoff experience to the finals. Kudos, CP3. Carry on. I agree with that. I'm not going to say it's the most impressive finals run ever, but I do think that what I mean when I say I agree with that, I agree that Chris Paul's presence on the Phoenix Suns team was a huge factor in getting them into the finals. I think he missed games 1 and 2 against the Clippers because of the COVID situation. But if we look at everywhere Chris Paul has been, he has been a significant factor. I think, did he make the play? I don't remember if he made the playoffs that year with OKC. He might have, though. I might be mistaken. I'd have to go back and look at that when this video's over. But he was a factor in that OKC team as well. They didn't really have anybody except him from what I remember. But Chris Paul is a hell of a player, man. Like I said earlier, he's one of the greatest point guards in NBA history, but he definitely was a huge factor in the Suns making it to the finals this year. And let's look at the schedule for the NBA finals. Like I said, game 1 is tomorrow night at 9. Game 2 will be 2 days after. So let me see. Let me see the break in between. 2 days, 3 days, 3 days, 3 days. So it's 2 days for the first 2 games, and then 3, and then 2. So yeah, it's like 2 or 3 days in between each game. So yeah, that's not bad. Let's talk about the matchups in this series, man. Not specifically position matchups, but I do think it's going to be an interesting size matchup between both of these teams, because I do think that Phoenix, not that I think, Phoenix does play a lot of small lineups, and I do think the Milwaukee Bucks have a significant size advantage against them. Not that that really matters, because we've seen teams win the championship and they win championships and they weren't that big. The 2 keys in this series, I already said the first one is the health of Giannis. If he's not 100% healthy, I don't think that the Bucks, I'm not going to say the Bucks don't have a chance, but I do think Phoenix is going to run away with it if Giannis is not healthy. But the second key is Devin Booker. I don't think that Milwaukee has anybody close to Devin Booker offensively. Offensively, Devin Booker is a stud. We've seen him drop 70 points a couple years ago, even though it was a loss. We still seen this guy score 70 points. He's been compared to Kobe Bryant by people like Stephen A. Smith, which I think was outlandish to compare anybody to Kobe Bryant. There is no Kobe Bryant. There will never be another Kobe Bryant. But the second best player on the Milwaukee Bucks is Chris Middleton, and Chris Middleton is no Devin Booker. So I think Giannis' health and Devin Booker are going to be the 2 main keys in this series. And the matchup of who's going to be guarding Giannis. Is it going to be Jay Crowder for the Phoenix Suns, or is it going to be DeAndre Ayton? I do think it's going to be Jay Crowder that is guarding Giannis. I don't know what they're going to do in Giannis' minutes, but it's the NBA Finals, so I do expect Giannis to play a lot regardless of what his injury is. If it's really significant, of course, that's different, but I do think Giannis is going to play a lot in this series, and I do think Jay Crowder is going to be on him. I think DeAndre Ayton is going to be guarding Brook Lopez, but we'll see what they do on that matchup. But we'll see. I don't know who's going to be guarding Giannis, but if I were to pick somebody, I would put Jay Crowder on Giannis. I think Jay Crowder is a really good defensive presence. I think he's a really good player defensively. He causes a lot of problems defensively, so I do think Jay Crowder is the better matchup to guard Giannis. And the last thing I'm going to do before I give my prediction, I'm going to give my top 5 most important players in this series. So number 5 is kind of a combination between 2 players. The number 5 most important player in this series, a combination between 2 players on the Phoenix Suns. I think it's going to be Jay Crowder and DeAndre Ayton. Who's going to guard Giannis? Who's going to be a bigger presence on the defensive end? Rebounding is going to be a very key factor in this series. What's DeAndre Ayton going to do against Giannis? If Giannis is close to 80-90%, what is DeAndre Ayton going to do? What is Jay Crowder going to do against Giannis? So I think Jay Crowder and DeAndre Ayton are the number 5 most important players in the series. Number 4, Chris Middleton. Like I said, second best player on the Milwaukee Bucks. If Giannis isn't 100%, he's not going to be 100%. But if Giannis isn't a factor in this series because of injury, because I do think that'll be the only reason he won't be a factor if his knee is acting up, what is Chris Middleton going to do to step up? Because you're the second best player on this team. He's not that consistent. And we saw him have great games in his playoffs, but he doesn't have great games consistently. So what is Chris Middleton going to do? That's why I put him at number 4 most important player in this series. Number 3 may be a surprise, but I think it's Devin Booker. Like I said, he already got the Kobe Bryant comparison from a lot of people. It wasn't just Stephen A. Smith, like I said earlier. Stud, 70-point game, young player. This is his first playoffs. He's in the finals in his first playoff appearance. What is Devin Booker going to do? Devin Booker is a great player. He's a rising star, probably a top 5 shooting guard in the league right now. Absolute stud. He's my number 3 most important player in this series. Number 2 most important player in the series for me, Giannis Antetokounmpo, 2-time MVP. You've been bounced out of the playoffs the last 2 years early. You're in your first NBA Finals. You're coming off an injury. You're hurt. Your knee is messed up. What are you going to do? I don't think he should have won either MVP award that he did get. I think James Harden should have got that first one that he got, and I think LeBron James should have won that second one. Defensive Player of the Year, too. I think that was an argument one year that he won that. I don't remember the player that I do think should have won, but I think that was a toss-up. Not a toss-up, but I do think that one was I think they just gave him the Defensive Player of the Year. I don't remember if he won it 1 or 2 times, but you're Defensive Player of the Year. You're the MVP, 2-time MVP. You're the only one in this series that's got 2 MVP awards. That's why he's my second most important player. And like I said, when it comes to the injury thing, his hyperextended knee. That is the number one most important thing to me in this series. That's why Giannis is my number 2 most important player in the NBA Finals. And my number one most important player in this series, many of you guys may disagree with this, but I do think it is Chris Paul. 16 years in the league, first NBA Finals. Like Kendrick Perkins said, like I just said, you are one of the if not the main factor, the main reason that the Phoenix Suns are where they are right now. He brought leadership. Devin Booker talked about it all the time. A lot of people don't like Chris Paul, but he brought the leadership that the Phoenix Suns needed on that team. It's your first NBA Finals, brother. What are you going to do? Are you going to perform? You're one of the best point guards in the NBA history. He said it the other day after they beat who they beat in the conference finals. He said it the other day after they beat the Clippers that everyone counted him out after he left Houston. Now it's your time to shine, Chris Paul. What are you going to do in this series? What are you going to do to get a championship to the Phoenix Suns and get your first ring? That's why Chris Paul is my most important player in this series. And yet again, I'm rooting for Chris Paul. I think there's a lot of pressure on him in this series in his first NBA Finals to perform and defeat the 2-time MVP, Giannis Antetokounmpo. That's why Chris Paul is my number 1 most important player in this NBA Finals. Let me know if y'all disagree with my list. What do y'all think? Let me know in the comments down below. And my prediction for the NBA Finals, man. It's going to be a tough one. I do think it's going to go 7 games. Like I said, Giannis' health is the number one main key in this series to me. I think Phoenix having home court is also going to be a factor because them fans are going to be in there. They've been in there loud these entire playoffs. And Devin Booker, man, the best player on the Phoenix Suns. There's no player on the Milwaukee Bucks that's even utterly close to being as good offensively as Devin Booker, excluding Giannis. Like I said, Chris Middleton is no Devin Booker. So Giannis' health, Phoenix's home court, and Devin Booker are all going to be factors in this series. I am going to say, if you look at all those 3 factors, because I don't think Giannis is going to be even 80% all the way good to play in this series, but I do think, like I said earlier, he's going to play a lot of minutes because it is the finals. I'm taking the Suns in 7, man. I do think it's going to go 7 games because I do think Milwaukee's going to play them tough. And again, like I said, that size advantage is going to be interesting to see in this series. I am going to pick the Suns in 7, not only just because I'm rooting for the Phoenix Suns and Chris Paul to win the ring. And they're not even my team, so I'm not being biased. Phoenix is not my team. Like I said, it's the Miami Heat. But I am going to pick the Phoenix Suns in 7. I thought it was interesting, too. There is a tweet right now that is going viral on Twitter. It is from November 3rd, 2016. I'll put it in the video here. It says 2021 NBA Finals, Bucks versus Suns, Game 7, Bucks win 123-115. And this is not Photoshop. This is actually a real tweet that can be found on Twitter. This dude actually tweeted this almost 5 years ago. So I'm not gonna let that affect my fucking prediction for the series at all. I'm gonna just go off what the real matchups and everything like that. But so like I said, I do think Phoenix is gonna take this in 7. I did think that was kind of funny though. That's crazy that he said that. I think the last time we saw that was that Chicago Cubs thing when they ended their drought and some dude said it in a yearbook that the year that the Chicago Cubs won the World Series that they were going to win. So that was pretty crazy. But I like the Suns in 7, man. Let me know if y'all disagree with my prediction or anything that I said in this video, man. It's always good to interact with people in the comments, man. So make sure y'all get in the comments. That's all I got for you guys today. 2021 NBA Finals, Phoenix Suns, Milwaukee Bucks. Like I said, not the matchup everyone wanted to see, but it is good to see 2 teams that haven't been in the finals for a very long time in there. Because when it was the Warriors and the Cavs for 5 years in a row, I was pissed, bro. I hated that it happened every year. Of course, I love LeBron. Who doesn't like? Well, there's a lot of people that don't like LeBron, but. The Warriors had a really good team. Kevin Durant, Steph Curry. It was great, but 5 years in a row, man, nobody wanted to see that, bro. So I think it's good that we got this finals, man, that not everyone thought was going to happen, because I was one of the people saying all year that it was going to be the Lakers and the Brooklyn Nets. Had both teams not had injuries, who knows what could have happened. But that's all I got for you guys. Thank you for watching another episode of Double Overtime. Remember, hit that subscribe button if you haven't already. Turn your notifications on for this channel so you can be alerted every time I drop a video. I will be trying to drop at least 2 videos a month, probably a little more than that. I'm going to try to drop a lot of content, especially when NFL season comes around. Thank you guys for watching. I'll be back with another one shortly. Enjoy the NBA Finals, guys.